Assalamu alaikum, viewers of Sophia TV. Welcome to our live show tonight discussing Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam. Assalamu alaikum, Sayed Ammar.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you for, again, enlightening us on the knowledge and, really providing a fascinating discourse on the Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Going back to the point now of his imama.
Yes.
Perhaps we can discuss his imama, that period, his wife or wives. Would you care to sort of continue where we left off, just in terms of the period of his imamate and what it was like?
Sure. You find that in terms of his personal life, a number of marriages, of which one of them results in the sons Abdullah and Ismail.
Right.
And then he marries this remarkable lady in Shia history by the name of Hamida.
Right.
And really remarkable in the sense that first and foremost, you find that as an imam, he doesn't marry someone from Medina, doesn't marry necessarily someone from the lineage of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family. Rather, he's looking for who's got the morals and the humility, the piety, the consciousness of Allah's presence in their life. And he begins a trend of imams who marry people from the North African region.
Why do you think that is?
Well,
especially to do with the cultural differences and the racism that's inherent amongst all schools of thought.
Yeah, sadly, there is this racist undertone or ignorant undertone within our communities. Sometimes it's sincere in the sense of, I wouldn't say they don't want their sons to marry people of other cultures. They prefer someone who knows the culture already. It makes the marriage much easier. But there is also an undertone of racism, there's no doubt. And subhanAllah, it's as if the Imams of Ahlul Bayt wanted to show not only the religion could be expanded to those lands when you build familial relations, but also you're removing the bigotry, this bigoted attitude of being greater than others. Because some Arabs used to say, we're greater than the non-Arab. You know, the great number of Mawali that were in Kufa, many of Iranian descent, saw an undertone of racism in what was called the Islamic Empire. And I think the Imams, when they're marrying from different cultures, begun with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, marrying a Persian, and then Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, Imam al-Kadhim, Imam al-Rada, Imam al-Jawad, Imam al-Hadi, Imam al-Askari, and the mother of the Imam of our time as well. So the aim is to show the verse in the Qur'an, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَى وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِندَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. That we, O mankind, we created you from different races and tribes, male and female, to get to know one another. And the best amongst you in the eyes of God is not the Arab, not the non-Arab, is the one who's conscious of Allah's presence, the one who's of the muttaqeen. So when he marries her, he sets for us a phenomenal example that, if our sons today want to marry a lover of Ahlul Bayt who's from a different culture, if you've got a problem, well, your Imam who you're named after, you say that I'm Ja'fari, he married someone of North African descent as well as someone of Arab descent. So she gives him Musa ibn Ja'far. And it's interesting that he names his, when she gives birth, the companions narrate that we were sitting in the garden area. There's a plantation where they used to all sit in the Abwa region. And they say that, we were sitting there and then we were told that, he had to leave and he came back and he said, Allah's granted me with a son. And we've named him Musa because he resembles Nabi Musa alayhi salam, and you find that mother, Imam al-Sadiq, if there were any questions you wanted to ask Imam al-Sadiq as a lady, sometimes ladies have their sensitive questions, which is very difficult as a male scholar to be able to answer. So he would say, any of you have questions for me, go to my wife Hamida, she answers in exactly the same way I would answer. Imagine that position, that Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, your answer is the same as mine. There's no one who gets that, but she studied under Imam al-Sadiq. And it's wonderful in the early years when Imam Musa al-Kadhim was growing up. I remember Imam Musa al-Kadhim seeing a mum like that and a dad like that. You can only imagine how the protege would be. And Imam al-Kadhim at a young age is able to answer questions no one else can answer. Abu Hanifa knocks at the door of Imam al-Sadiq one day. And this Abu Hanifa, we mentioned earlier in the show, 31% of the Muslim world follows his fiqh. And he goes to visit Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and when he visits the Imam, he wants to ask the Imam a question. So Imam Musa al-Kadhim answers you know, the door, and he says to him, my dad's a bit busy at the moment.
Right.
So Abu Hanifa said, well, I just had a question to ask him. He said, maybe I can answer it for you. Abu Hanifa's looking at his 5-year-old boy. He's telling me he can answer my theological question. So Abu Hanifa's Imam says, what's your question, O Abu Hanifa? This is the 7th Imam of the Shia, Ithna Ashariya, answering the question of the main Imam of fiqh of 31% of the Muslim world. So Abu Hanifa says, is it us who commit a sin? Is it us and God, or does God make us sin? The famous predestination free will.
Yes.
And Imam Musa al-Kadhim replies by saying, oh, Abu Hanifa, if it is God who makes us sin, it's not fair that he punishes us in hell when he's the one who made us commit the sin. Oh, Abu Hanifa, if it is us and God taking part, once again, why are we punished when he's part of the crime?
Yeah.
So, oh, Abu Hanifa, know that when we commit a sin, it's all from our own free will. إِنَّا هَدَيْنَاهُ السَّبِيلَ إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. So you find, and even there's another anecdote which is mentioned, that when Abu Hanifa on one occasion sees someone walk past Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam, Imam was praying, young boy praying. So he sees someone walk past him, and our brothers in Ahlul Sunnah, you'll notice if you walk past them in Salah, they'll put their hand out.
Yeah, they don't like it.
And it's understandable not to like it. Why don't you go behind me? Why do you have to walk across? He notices Imam Musa al-Kadhim doesn't do anything. So he goes to Imam Sadiq and says, have you brought up your son properly? You should teach him that when someone walks past him in Salah, he should put his hand out. So Imam Sadiq says to Abu Hanifa, he says, why don't you go and teach him? So he goes to Imam al-Kadhim and he says to him, young man, I saw you praying, and when someone walked past you in Salah, you should put your hand out. So Imam Musa al-Kadhim said, God says he's closer to me than my jugular vein. I didn't even recognize anyone walked past me in my prayer. You know, that's the level of achievement that Imam had at that young age. Yeah. And that's the wonderful beauty of this house, that it wasn't a house people were concerned, oh, he's from Iraq, he married someone from Iran. No. Oh, he's from Syria, married someone from Lebanon. Oh, they're from Pakistan, married someone from India. No, they're both lovers of lovers of the message of Rasulullah, members of the protection of the message of Rasulullah from Al Muhammad, and that's the type of son that they had.
Tarbiyah as
well. Oh, phenomenal tarbiyah, no doubt. Yeah. So those were the years, in terms of his personal life and his imamah.
Right. We had a caller a few minutes back who left a message, I believe.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I should be able to correct what I'm saying if I'm, misstating it. But apparently, that there's a hadith about Abu Bakr saying that Imam Jafar Sadiq has delivered me or delivered us.
Yes.
While at,
yes.
Can you allude to that, possibly?
Yes, they normally refer to a hadith from the Sunan of Abdullah, son of Ahmad bin Hanbal.
Right.
That Imam al-Sadiq talks of the fact that I'm from the progeny of Abu Bakr and he has borne me twice and so on. That's not in my books.
Okay.
Listen, I really don't see what
What's a big
Abdullah bin Ahmad bin Hanbal doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
If you want my opinions on or our teachings on Imam al-Sadiq relating to Abu Bakr, go read Bihar al-Anwar. Go read the tafsir of Ibrahim al-Qummi, or go and read the tafsir of, for example, Al-Ayyashi and others. Then you'll know exactly what we think.
Yeah.
When I'm using Bukhari and Muslim, by the way, this hadith is not in Bukhari and Muslim, but I'm saying when I'm using Bukhari and Muslim in my polemic debates, because in polemical debate, I have to use your sources.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I don't need to overstate your sources. Listen, if you have it in your sources, obscure sources at that, hardly anyone ever quotes, they're using sources which hardly anyone ever uses. But if you want to use your sources, go ahead. They're not my sources.
Yeah.
My conception of imamah, first and foremost, is that it's a designation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Secondly, in Sahih Muslim it says Fatima died angry with Abu Bakr. Yes? Mm-hmm. Why the grandson of Fatima finds it an honor to be from the lineage of the man. Thirdly, let me make something very clear. If we say we agree that he is from that lineage, I can debate this historically in another way, but I'm not going to take it on tonight.
Right.
But if we were to say that, his mom is Farwa, daughter of Qasim, son of Muhammad, son of Abu Bakr. Muhammad bin Abu Bakr himself disagreed with his father.
Yeah.
Abu Bakr had nothing to do with the upbringing of Muhammad. It was all Asma bint Umays and Ali ibn Abi Talib.
Exactly.
Because Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib married Asma when Muhammad was how old? 3-4 years old. So Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib is the one who raised Muhammad bin Abu Bakr. Muhammad bin Abu Bakr is the same man who cut the camel's feet of Aisha at the Battle of Jamal. Muhammad bin Abu Bakr is killed by who? By Amr ibn al-As, upon the orders of Amr ibn al-As. So why Imam al-Sadiq finds it an honor, you know, to have this attribution? But if you have it in your books, listen, my brother, you want to go to your grave with that hadith, go. It's your book, it's not my book. I really am not going to lose any sleep because something's quoted in your books.
Yes.
Is it in Al-Kafi, for example, such a hadith, someone says to me, well, if it's there, then we have to believe in it. Well, I'll turn around once again and say, I don't have to take even any hadith that's in our literature. Every hadith is open to question, open to dissimulation of the time. Is what's being used, is taqiyya being used at the time?
No.
You know, what else? So many different factors involved in such.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, just going back to some of the debates that he had. I think there's one key debate also that Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam had with Abu Shakir.
Yes, yes.
What does that involve?
There was an interesting current in the time of Imam Sadiq of people who are either calling the Imams God and committing shirk, or saying there's no God.
Right.
So that middle ground was somewhat missing. And amongst these were, you know, the son of Awja, for example, was one of those who has, the famous, they say, the hadith of Mufaddal, if that is his hadith and not something we've taken from Greek literature and ascribed it to Mufaddal, for example. But, people would come and say, prove to me God exists. Yeah. Yes, we respect Muhammad and, we know he's a man of integrity, but we don't necessarily believe in the Lord of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the likes of the son of Awja or the likes of Abu Shakir al-Daysani, these would come and say, prove to us God exists. Firstly, what's the first point we get from this? The wonderful open-mindedness, non-judgmentalism of Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Doesn't say atheists kill them. Doesn't say atheists you can't discuss with them. Doesn't even say atheists can't be welcome in the community. You see, if today now in my own Muslim community, one of our sons becomes atheist, you'll get people getting all flustered. Oh, how could he become atheist? Yeah. You should not welcome him, don't talk to him. Why? Why not? Come, sit down. The person has reached a worldview where he believes there's no God. Let's discuss. Absolutely. And Imam al-Sadiq uses different examples to discuss. So firstly, look how comfortable the atheist is to visit the Imam of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. That they realize that, even if I won't agree with what this person says, he's probably going to still make sense and have respect for me when he's talking with me. Yes? So Abu Shakir al-Daysani, one of the wonderful ways in which Imam proved God's existence, was talking about the egg and the creation of the egg and the yolk and the whiteness and the yellowness and how they are in perfection. He's like, well, Abu Shakir, if you're believing this could not have come by an accident, then how is this world that surrounds us? How could you say it came by an accident? And there were so many other atheists who would come. That atheist who came to Imam Sadiq said, oh, Ja'far bin Muhammad, you believe God exists? He said, yes. He said, show me him. So he said, look at the sun.
Right.
So he looks towards the sun, turns his eyes. Imam said, what's wrong? He said, the rays of the light of the sun are blinding me. He said, if you can't afford to see the created, how do you expect to see the creator?
Exactly, yes.
So the atheist, and there's many examples I can give you, but the atheist finding comfort, and his companions found comfort debating him. We'll come to that.
We'll come back to that. There's a caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, your name please and your question.
Yeah, my name is Fatima from London. My question to Sayed Ammar. Assalamu alaikum, Sayed Ammar.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
So my question is regarding, if I can go back to the works of Imam Ja'far Sadiq, and are there any books that he's written that's still available right now with us, or do we just have to rely on books that were written by his students or narrations by the people around him?
Sure, it's a fantastic question. In terms of
reliance.
Yeah, in terms of reliability of a book that remains from Imam al-Sadiq, that is definitely something which is open to question. Was there necessarily in the time that Imam al-Sadiq, let's say Imam al-Sadiq is living late first century, was there really an oral tradition or writing tradition at the time? Our brothers in Ahlul Sunnah, if you ask them, most of their most famous works are early 2nd, mid-2nd century.
I see.
Now, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam is born 80 after Hijrah. I don't think many of our brothers from Ahl Sunnah are able to quote you a book in that first 100 years, which they can show you this is from someone who was alive there. Yes, we have Kitab Sulaim, let's say, as an early book, but that remains early 2nd century. So, firstly, my dear sister, we need to understand oral tradition was the norm hitherto, that point. Oral tradition was the norm. Yeah, that doesn't deny that there wasn't writing happening.
No.
But the idea of binding a book and a collection, one may argue, yes, Imam al-Baqir had access to Kitab Ali, the book of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, and they all had access to this. And we at the same time have tafasir in works which may be seen as recensions of books of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. But we have phenomenal number of hadiths from Imam al-Sadiq. You can't have that many hadiths and think I've not reached nothing from Ja'far al-Sadiq.
Are there more from him?
There's more from him than anyone
Any
else.
others?
You could even say that possibly if you add all the Imams
I see.
together, they come to Ja'far al-Sadiq's hadiths.
Right.
So we have tafsir of the Qur'an from Imam al-Sadiq, but are you telling me do we have a voluminous, magnanimous work of tafsir remaining with us from Imam al-Sadiq? No, sir. Do we have, Sufis have attributions of possible tafsir from Imam al-Sadiq, but these are all open to question in terms of reliability.
Okay, so now thank you for that. We have another caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum, and your name and question, please.
Alaikum brothers, it's me again from London.
Yes.
How are you, inshallah?
Alhamdulillah, very well.
Okay, brother, I've got a couple of questions. If you don't mind, if you've got time for this. Slightly side topic. Regarding Salman Farsi, how did he reach the highest level of modifier a human can ever reach? And is it possible for any individual to reach that position? That's my first question. My second question is, in Ziyat al-Shura, who are the 4 nameless personalities that the Ziyarat curses upon? And why are they not named like the rest of the individuals, the tyrants in the Ziyarat? And also, if we wanted to show this to the Sunnis, how would we go about it? And my last question is, I've heard about this Tafkiki school of thought. Who exactly are they? And what's their relationship to the Sadr school of thought? Jazakallah.
Okay.
Yep.
So
in terms of the first question, Salman, we know very well, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, has quoted many a wonderful tradition in terms of Salman. Without a doubt, the status. To compare him by saying that he is the Luqman of our time. And Luqman, as we know, has a surah of the Qur'an named after him. Number one. Number two, to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered me to love 4, Salman, Abu Dhar, Ammar and Miqdad. But number 3, there are 10 levels of faith, and Salman is on the 10th. Number 4, if Abu Dhar knew what Salman believed, then he would call him a kafir.
yeah.
Believed about whom? Believed about Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Yes? Salman, you will notice, there is a mixture of 2 things that combine in his status, which elevates him.
Right.
Number 1, a man always fasting, praying and reciting Qur'an. And number 2, a man who knew the meaning of the Imam of his time.
Right.
Yes? Sacrificing all for the Imam's time. You combine these 2, you have the perfect combination. What do I mean? One day the Prophet asked, which one of you prays all the time? Which one of you fasts all the time? Which one of you reads Qur'an all the time? Companions were all sitting down. And then Salman put his hand up. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I am the one who prays all the time, fasts all the time, reads Qur'an all the time. They said, Ya Rasulullah, you said Salman is on the 10th level of faith, truthful. Yes? But he just lied. We've seen moments he doesn't pray. We've seen moments he doesn't fast. We've seen moments he doesn't read Qur'an. And then Salman elaborates on this by saying something wonderful that highlights why he reaches that level. Because he does the mustahabbat, not the wajibat only. He does the recommended, not the obligatory. Sometimes, speaker included, we neglect the recommended and we just stick on the obligatory. And that's something we all need to work on in our own lives. But what he does is quite wonderful. He says, well, I fast 13th, 14th, 15th of every month. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, whoever fasts the 3 days of the middle of every month is as if he fasted the whole month. I pray, I'm always in wudu before I sleep. That means I pray the whole night, yes? Yeah. And I recite a surah, which is in similarity and synonymous with Ali ibn Abi Talib. And that is Surah Al-Ikhlas, Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad. If you recite it once, 1/3 of the Qur'an. Twice, 2/3 of the Qur'an. 3 times, it's as if you recited the whole Qur'an. Ali ibn Abi Talib, if you love him, with your tongue, 1/3 of faith. Actions, 2/3. With your heart, the complete faith. Yeah. Then he says, I swear, if mankind understood Ali ibn Abi Talib, Allah would not have seen a need to create hellfire. This man sacrificed everything that he had. Not only does he perform the obligatory, he performs the recommended, which is the highest level of spirituality. When you do acts for Allah, which you don't need to do. Yes? Khum, sadaq, khum, zakat, we have to. But to actually do charity, which you don't need to, is another level. Of course. Salah 5 times a day, you have to. But Salat al-Layl, you don't need to. But when you do it, Allah says, look at that person. So Salman has those recommended acts which show his love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Recognizes the Imam of his time. There are many who were companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but neglected the Imam of their time. What made Salman special? When the Imam of his time needed him, he was there. Yeah. When after Saqifa, when they said to Imam Ali, let's fight those who have taken your leadership, what did the Imam say? The Imam turned around and he said, all of you come tomorrow with your head shaved. And of those who turned up, only Salman, Abu Dhar, and a couple of others came. So I want to show you the reason the Prophet said he is from us, the Ahlul Bayt. Yes? Don't call him Salman al-Farisi. Sometimes I hear people say he is Salman al-Farisi. No, he's Salman al-Muhammadi. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, said. And even when they'd mock him to say that, you know, Umar ibn al-Khattab on one occasion tried to mock him by saying, I'm from this tribe, from that tribe. He's like, listen, I was a slave and I was freed by Muhammad. Yeah. You know, and I found my family in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's the level that he reaches. There's another couple of questions which I'll answer. Yes. Or are you going to take a call?
I did whatever you feel comfortable.
Let me try and answer this next couple of questions because I know there are calls coming in. I want to try to go through them. Second question was about who are those who la'na is given on in Ziyarat Ashura who's not mentioned. Not mentioned. Yes. Well, I'll keep it to the Imam who didn't mention them to know who they are. Right. Who am I to come and say who they are? There's many in history we need to give la'na on. We need to give la'na on Qabil, the killer of Habil. We need to give la'na on Qarun, Fir'aun, Haman, Ibn Muljam. There's many. You can pick and choose in history who the la'na is given on. Anyone who oppressed the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on earth, that person la'na is on them, as the Qur'an in Surah 2 verse 159 and 161 tells us. In terms of the Tafkiki school and the debate concerning, there's a major question concerning the issue of Irfan. Yes, what some of our Ahlul Sunnah brothers may discuss as Sufism, what we may come to term within our traditions and our seminaries as Irfan. The question is, who do you learn your mystical path through? Do you learn it? Do you acquire it? Do you study it under people who are followers of Ahlul Bayt with strong belief in the theological system of Ahlul Bayt, or do you study it from people who are outside of the school of Ahlul Bayt? Can a person acquire their spiritual learning and the spiritual path from someone who is a spiritual master himself, but maybe a hater of Ahlul Bayt, maybe someone who has believed in those who have usurped the rights of Ahlul Bayt? Can you, or do you only take it from those who are both theologically and mystically sound? Yes. Can a person go to Ibn Arabi, or does he only stick to Mullah Sadra? Do you take from Mullah Sadra, or do you only stick to those who are known as being strong in their belief in the school of Ahlul Bayt? Some will say, well, you can't take from a person who loves the oppressors of Al Muhammad. How can I take spirituality from someone himself hasn't even found the door of spirituality? Absolutely. And others will say, well, Rasulullah says that wisdom is the lost treasure, you know, of the believer, and go as far as trying. It's a huge debate, which I can elaborate on another occasion.
Yeah. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you for waiting. Call on the line.
You're welcome. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdullah.
Yes, sir.
I feel guilty to interrupt, but there are a few questions, and I'm sure that I will be satisfied after this call. My first question is, I'm a Shia Muslim, but my brother, who is at the edge, and he is not very confident that whenever I told him that Abu Hanifa was sort of student of Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam. So if I could get some sort of academic evidences. Another question is this. First three caliph, if was any one of them was a hafiz of Quran, or did they write any book? Have they left any book behind? And my third question is this. After when Prophet passed away from this world, there was three claimants of false prophethood. Were they on their own alone, or did they have their followers as well? And I'm told in the history, from the history books, that there was some people, those who denied paying zakat. So, and also, last question, that has Prophet ﷺ himself written a book or left behind any book or asked someone to write anything on his behalf? Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so the first point was about Abu Hanifa as a student. Second question was about the first three caliphs, were any of them Hafiz al-Quran and so on and so forth. Third point was about the prophethood itself. And the fourth was about, did the Holy Prophet, peace be on him, leave anything to be written on his behalf?
Sure, as I mentioned earlier, Abu Hanifa has the famous tradition, Lawla Sanatan Lahalak al-Nu'man, and this is not in Shia literature.
Which book is it, so that the viewer can
there's numerous references which we can give, and I want to give also the viewer the references on Malik bin Anas and his years of studying under Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. So if the viewer leaves behind their number or their email address, I will send all the references with the page, the volume, and even the ISBN number.
Alhamdulillah.
Because I know many people, when we quote, for example, Al-Kamil fi Tarikh or Ansab al-Ashraf of Baladhuri, or for example, we quote Tabari, or we quote Mas'udi or Yaqubi. They say, you gave us the reference, but you haven't given us the volume and the page and that. Half the problem is when we quote these references, is that I may give you the volume and the page of the edition that I have, but it's not the Hyderabad edition you have or the Cairo edition and so on.
Yes.
So if that caller would be kind enough to leave us the details, I'm going to give them the exact references with the page and the edition so that they can go and they can photocopy the page for themselves, inshallah, in Sunni literature. In terms of the second question, were the Abu Bakr, Umar and Uthman, were they Hafid Quran? Even within Sunni belief, there is nothing to prove that they were Hafid Quran. On the contrary, the main Huffaz of the Quran, if you were to talk about the main names in Sunni and Shia literature, Ali ibn Abi Talib, far above everybody else of the Sahaba, no doubt. Zayd, Abdullah bin Mas'ud, these are the main names who are normally known as the Huffaz of the Holy Quran. So in terms of books, there is no book whatsoever left behind from the three Khulafa. Yes, nothing at all. There is not even a supplication which has been left behind of worthy note. You know, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, the reason we are so confident as Shia in our beliefs is because when we look at the supplications of the Ahlul Bayt, we realize that their connection with Allah, none comes near. And the best example is when you go Hajj. When you go Hajj, if you know, when you're in Mina and the tents are next to each other, on the day of Arafah, I've heard my brothers from other schools in Islam, if you read their dua, you listen to their dua, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسْنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسْنَةً. You know, a 6-year-old can memorize that. Yeah. Oh Allah, forgive our brothers in Palestine and our brothers in Bosnia. 12-year-old can memorize that. You listen to dua Arafah of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, that's when you realize why the Prophet said, I leave behind the Qur'an and my Ahlul Bayt. Yes? Because no one can talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like Muhammad and Muhammad salawatullah wa salamu alayhima. So, my brothers and sisters in Ahlul Sunnah, I always say to them, listen, if Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman left me behind worthy books of literature. Someone says, well, earlier you said Imam al-Sadiq hasn't got many books of literature he's left behind. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib left me Dua Kumail. And Imam Zayn al-Abidin has left me the Sahifa. And you have Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam's left me Dua Arafah. And Imam al-Hadi has left me Ziyara Jami'ah. And Imam al-Sadiq, which we haven't even come to yet, Imam al-Sadiq's supplications, no one ever refers to. The supplications after Salah. Yes. Imam al-Sadiq. You know, Allahumma innahu laysa li ilmun bi mawda'i rizqi. Allahumma inni as'aluka mujibati rahmatik wa azama. It's all Imam al-Sadiq. Okay. And Ziyarat al-Hussein, which I'm sure we're going to come to now, Imam Sadiq and his relation with Abu Abdullah. So there's nothing been left out. Number 3, were there people who claimed prophethood after Rasulullah died? Yes, Musaylam al-Kadhab, the most famous of them, who claimed that he was a prophet and Rasulullah was a prophet, and even tried to come up with his own Qur'an. They try and use him to say that's why Abu Bakr and Khalid bin Walid ordered the killing of the Ridda apostate wars, because Muslims who didn't pay zakat, they confused them with Musaylimah Kadhab. Musaylimah Kadhab was to be killed because he claimed prophethood.
Yes.
But the Ridda wars, those who didn't pay zakat to Abu Bakr because they were part of Musaylimah. It's because they didn't believe he was the rightful Khalifa. Malik bin Nuwayra would not give zakat to Abu Bakr because he said Ali ibn Abi Talib was chosen at Ghadir. But no one ever talks about the massacres of the lovers of Ali after Saqifa.
No.
Did the Holy Prophet leave behind any book? People say if the Holy Prophet proved to everyone that he's writing books, they'll say the Qur'an was his own writing. Yes? The Holy Prophet, there is a wisdom behind why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not let anyone see him learn how to read and write in Arabia. And he was taught by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay,
Yep.
alhamdulillah, shukran. So hopefully that's answered the caller's questions. You touched upon an aspect which I was going to sort of allude to soon. The point of the du'as as well that he's left.
Yes.
The legacies, because there's some phenomenal treasures, as it were.
And
you
Imam
mentioned a
al-Sadiq,
few about after Salah.
Yeah, Imam
and also the
al-Sadiq.
ziyarat, because he always, I mean, each of the Imams, after Imam Hussein al-Islam, always pinpoint and direct the blessings, as it were, and salutations, obviously to the whole of the Ahlul Bayt, but primarily to the fastest ship, Imam Hussein al-Islam, in terms of ziyarat. But this particular Imam does it in a different, I wouldn't say in a different way, but there's so many aspects that he's left behind for in terms of.
If you want to look for the modern day lover of Abu Abdullah,
yeah,
and you want to look at the ultimate azadar,
right,
there's Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam.
Why is that? Why not the 8th Imam?
Because Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam is the one who begun the stressing on Majalis al-Hussein,
So the Azhar.
Zakir al-Hussein,
Right.
poets of Hussein, yes, training poets, giving out food in honor of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, pretending to cry for Abu Abdullah, not just crying, pretending to cry. I've been in majalis where you see the Maulanas giving the majlis, and you got people in the crowd, you got some whose head is bowed down, some are crying, you got some who are just staring at the guy. Like, we've gone to a cinema to watch a film. So Imam al-Sadiq, ultimate azada, no doubt. And you find that ziyarah, he has a dua in honor of Zuwar al-Hussein. اللهم اغفر لي ولإخواني ولزوار قبر أبي عبد الله الحسين عليه السلام الذين أنفقوا أموالهم وأشخصوا أبدانهم رغبة في برنا. You find, what does he say? He says, oh Allah, forgive me and my brothers and the visitors of Abu Abdullah, those who have put their lives in danger and have spent their wealth just to come and visit him. رغبة في برنا ورجاء لما عندك في وصلتنا. So that also they maintain their relationship with us. So, oh Allah, اللهم اغفر تلك الخدود التي تقلب على ضريح أبي عبد الله. Ya Allah, have mercy on the cheeks that rub themselves on the grave of Abu Abdullah. Look at the level of Imam al-Sadiq's love for Imam al-Hussein. He says, oh Allah, have mercy on those cheeks that rub themselves on the grave. When you go to Karbala, don't just stand there. Go and rub those cheeks. Someone will say, why? The same shirt of Yusuf that can cure, the same darih of Hussein that can cure. Okay. And under the dome of Abu Abdullah, all du'as are accepted.
Okay, we're going to be going into a short break, but before we do, there's another call on the line.
Sure.
I think we'll take the call and the question, but answer the actual question, as it were, after the break. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Salam to you and to, of course, your respected guest.
Yes.
MashaAllah, I've listened to this gentleman and it's very good.
Yes.
May Allah give him more ilm and may Allah give me some ilm just like that also.
Thank you so much.
I have a question for your guest.
Yes.
Question is, we talk about Hazrat Abu Bakr, Hazrat Umar. Has he read anywhere what their physical appearances were? Like, for instance, it is said that Hazrat Umar was a tall person, like someone like Lee Van Cleef, the comedian, or Hazrat Abu Bakr was a short, chubbish guy, maybe like Danny DeVito or someone. So can Monsab elaborate on that, what they looked like? I would like to know because I've got a lot of Sunni friends and they always want to know the appearances of Hazrat Umar and Abu Bakr for some reason. I don't know why. Thanks very much. May Allah keep you safe. Khuda Hafiz.
Alhamdulillah. So the question is on the physical appearance of
I
the
must admit,
caliphs.
you know, even in my historical reading, I've never been bothered to look for their, you know, how they looked like. It doesn't really make a difference to my life, and I really don't think it makes a difference to most people's lives.
Right.
I suppose, you know, with Umar ibn al-Khattab, the best description in terms of physical appearance would be that when Umar would walk on one side of the road, Shaitan would go on the other.
And
you know, and
yeah,
and also in terms of the fact that a woman would miscarry her baby when pregnant when she saw Umar ibn al-Khattab's face. So that should give you enough of an indication as to his physical appearance. Otherwise, you know, such a thing really doesn't interest me, and I don't lose any sleep about what people look like.
Yeah, sure. Alhamdulillah. Okay, viewers, inshallah, join us again in the next few minutes. We're going to go for a short break. Assalamu alaikum.